Good morning. I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. And I want to welcome you to today's presentation, which I've entitled, Where Do You Get Your Confidence? At first, I thought it was a silly question, but it was especially coming from a lending professional. But then I realized that this was a person for whom the sky was always falling. In fact, I think they predicted 7 of the last 3 recessions. So my response, after I thought about it, I thought, well, you know what? It's not a bad question. At first I thought it was silly, but the more I thought about it, it's probably a relatively good question. So my answer was, my confidence in these cash flows came from doing 150 to 200 of them per year for the last 20 plus years. And on this particular client, I had a long-term history with them, and it was very solid in terms of cash flow performance. So the point of this whole discussion is, if you complete your cash flow analysis regularly, it will also increase your confidence. Whether the cash flow is positive or negative, you will still have a better grasp of your numbers. And remember, as I've said numerous times before in these videos, if we measure something, we can understand it. We understand it, we can control it. And of course, the good news is if we can control it, we can make improvement. We can improve the cash flow situation. Ray Kroc, founder of McDonald's, as you and I know McDonald's today, said, and I quote, "I didn't invent the hamburger, I just took it more seriously than anyone else," end of quote. And I will add that likewise, I didn't invent cash flow analysis. In fact, it was invented hundreds of years ago. But I have probably taken it more seriously than most people. And now most recently, we've created what I call the Success Strategies Advantage. It's a software as a service where you basically will input about 20 numbers related to your loans, loan balances, payments, interest. It's not that difficult, but basically you'll input about 20 numbers on loans and your feed inventory, and a couple dozen actual numbers that you'll grasp from your QuickBooks or whatever other accounting software you measure on a year-to-date basis, and it'll create 5 things for you. Number 1, it will give you a year-to-date cash flow comparison of your actual performance on cash flow compared to regional averages, giving you kind of some perspective of how you compare to others in your region. Number 2, it'll show you the areas where you're over or under budget, and not necessarily good or bad, but it'll clarify for you where you might be over or under budget compared to others in your region. And sometimes it's a facility constraint that may impact those things, but the key is knowing, as long as it's not a problem if you're over or under to some extent, unless it's extreme, but the key is to know why. Is it a facility constraint? Maybe your barn is slower than other dairymen's barns, things type of things. That's the important thing. Number 3, it will give you break-even levels. These will tell you on a break-even for feed costs, milk production, price per hundredweight on milk. These are crucial. Break-even levels are very useful for you, especially if you're using programs like the Dairy Revenue Protection Program or the Dairy Margin Coverage Program. You want to know where your break-even levels are so you set those floors under your milk price basically to your best advantage. Number 4, it will prepare you better to talk with your team, whether it's your veterinarian, nutritionist, financial advisor, banker, others. It'll help you to refine your numbers. You will have a good picture of what your year-to-date cash flow looks like and how you compare it to others in your region, which I think can be very valuable. And number 5, it will give you solid information to share with your banker. Your banker wants nothing more than for you to succeed. And it is not a replacement for CPA prepared financial statements, but it will show your current performance, and it'll help you to explain to your banker and to yourself how future changes in your operation, whether it's financing a new barn or whatever the case may be, how those will impact your operation and its profitability going forward. I would urge you to go look at success-strategies.com. On our homepage, you will see this. It's very reasonably priced, I think, and I want to Thank you for listening today. I encourage you to go take a look at that so you will know where you get your confidence. Again, I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage, and thank you for listening today.